Some of my favourite work is with my community transport organisation, which Sarah mentioned, which provides transports for people with mobility problems and serves actually now 2,500 people in my area on a daily basis, providing them with transport to hospital appointments or doctor's appointments or shopping or social activities using small buses and cars. And the emphasis there is on safety, of course, and training for our drivers so that they tie down wheelchairs securely, which I noted didn't really happen a couple of times here. Another major interest that I have is a local housing company which builds affordable units or flats for people with low income, and a percentage of these are fully accessible for people in wheelchairs. Although we do not provide care, which I'll be talking about more this afternoon, but we outsource this when it's needed. But it's a vital assistance in a place like Brisbane, which, in spite of the fact that Australia is such a lucky country, we have a large number of people who are actually homeless and who would be forced to live on the street because our GDP is very high and the cost of living is very high, which is a shame in a country like ours, that people simply cannot afford to live where they would like to live. And so that helps a great deal. In these simple ways, I can actually access government funding to provide assistance for all people with disabilities, which is another of my interests, and that is People with Disability Australia, not just people with MS, because I found that the broader approach there made it easier for me to approach government for funding, where they do not, like in our country, to provide for a single diagnostic illness like MS. They will provide in a more general way for people with disabilities. And of course, it's very easy in my situation to be able to then sneak through an emphasis on people with MS as being the most needy. And this I've been able to do, which is very fortunate. So again, I'm extremely lucky because I'm so active and I'm able to do things and I can talk. As we often laugh, my friends say that I can talk under wet concrete, and this is quite possibly so, and I can talk down government people and persuade them that we really do need government funding to help us to get work done. Australia has a relatively small population and also a very small population of MS. I put the population of MS at 25,000, although there are only 15,000 people actually registered with MS societies around the country, so we are really quite small. But of course, on the research side, as most people know, we do fight above our weight, as with some of our sporting teams occasionally. Our researchers are among some of the world's best, and some of them will be here this week, and no doubt, for ECTRIMS, and we hope for some very, very good reports out of that. And I know they have some exciting reports to put forward too, so I look forward very, very much to watching the website and seeing all of this good information come forward. I think there's probably not a whole lot that people want to hear about in my life. As I've said, I cut my cloth according to what I can wear. And if I'm not feeling well one day, I will take a day off and phone people and say, look, can't make it today. And I may lie a little bit and say I'm just too busy to get to that meeting. But on the other hand, what I'm doing is flat out on the bed resting. And if I have 2 or 3 days of being very busy, well, then that's also then covered by 2 or 3 days of really good heavy resting. I also swear by using a hydrotherapy pool for exercise and rehabilitation. So that's another thing that I encourage very much amongst all my friends with disabilities, that we use exercise to the fullest extent, and I swear by hydrotherapy myself. I'm fortunate that I live near a little pool complex which has an excellent hydro pool in it, which I take advantage of at every opportunity. The water is a bit too hot for me, as is often the case. It's heated to suit arthritic people, not people with MS, so it's always a short visit because it's too exhausting. But the exercise has kept me active so many years that I can actually thoroughly recommend that for anyone who has access to it. And I think that's probably all I need to tell you because Sarah filled in so much. So I'll excuse myself now. And if anyone is around this afternoon, I'll be back again talking about other aspects of living with MS. And thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Anne and Sarah. Well, now we move on to the more formal element of the day, and this event is really become an annual event, it's quite unique because it is involving people with MS at every stage, both in planning the meeting, and you heard from Sue how a lot of work went into that, Sue and Paul and the Czech MS Society and the EMSP. But also people with MS are being involved in the presentations and are, if you like, setting the scene for the neurologist or whoever who's going to speak. I rather like the idea of neurologists fighting MS, so I hope we'll hear quite a lot of that. Now,